Hey, it's John and Mike, brew-dudes.com, and this is the beer that keeps on giving. This is like, I don't know, generation. There's so many threads that led to this beer, and we'll talk about it. Remember when we got sent Cascade hops from Canada?
Yes.
From Sean from Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, to be exact. Well, not only did he send hops, but he also sent a recipe. You know, this is a recipe for his beer that he has on house. And then remember that beer that we talked about 2 weeks ago? It was kind of like this experimental Partaguile beer. It was definitely more experimental than good, but it really turned into more of a yeast starter for some Cosmic Punch yeast. Well, if you take that thread and mix it with this thread, you get this beer. This is a Bombastic Blonde Ale from our friend Sean in Winnipeg. And it does showcase the Canadian Cascade hops.
Cascade.
And also that yeast strain. So let's talk about the recipe. Very simple. I had to sort of do the math myself to figure it out for a 5-gallon batch. But we'll keep it simple for the video because, you know, you can do the same thing. 77.8% US 2-row. That is a base malt for the grain bill. The other 22.2% is a Golden Promise malt. And then it's all about Cascade, all boil, all day. I don't know. I'm trying to like just say something here. It's 14 grams goes into first wort hopping, and then with 10 minutes to go in the boil, 28 grams or 1 ounce, and then right at flame out, another 28 grams or 1 ounce. And then we're throwing in a little Whirfloc and Yeast Nutrient at 10 minutes to go. We mash all of that at 68.7 degrees Celsius, that's 152 degrees Fahrenheit. He wants you to oxygenate with pure O2 or just shake it like the fermenter owes you money. Ferment for 3 weeks, which I did follow, then transfer to keg and lager for another 3 weeks. We're probably on day 3 of that 3 weeks, but you know, good things, that's why it's not clear. He says sample, if not clear, then use gelatin for pristine clarity. But I think with the yeast strain and such, you know, we'll see. Anyway, this is really all about showcasing the Canadian Cascade hops, which we found to be fruity in the smash methodology. Yep. I wanted to see if we, you know, I guess put a few more malts to the grain bill and see how that would turn out, and then change up the hop scheduling. So, and then also, you know, this is of course the Cosmic Punch yeast. It's supposed to bring out more of those fruit essences from the hops. So what's your take on all of this?
Well, like 22% Golden Promise in there, right? There is I do get a very subtle amount of cracker trying to
bust through,
trying to be present with the really, you know, background bland American US 2-row.
Yep.
Which is interesting. So just enough depth. The aroma, I mean, it's like a little bit of that juicy fruit gum, but dulled aroma to it. It's not screaming out Cascade to me. It's not saying grapefruit or citrus to me. It's just like this nondescript, fruity presence that is maybe more somewhere in that limey orange range to me. It's not, even though I just said there's no citrus here. You know, if I had to describe it.
But not grapefruit, which I would think
maybe
is
more
typical.
Like peachy or something without actually biting into it. You know, like just like the whole peach, you know?
Yeah.
So look muted, you know? And the flavor carries through a little bit the same way. I get some of that, it's just really the juicy fruit gum, nondescript fruit. Is well balanced with the base. It's pretty good. I wonder how much of that flavor is just that Cosmic Punch coming through. And I also wonder how much this Cosmic Punch yeast is actually doing its job too well and knocking down maybe in an effort to thiolize even more stuff. It's sort of like taking away from finding the right balance between the thiolized reactions that are going on with Cosmic Punch and what you want to expect from the hops at the same time. Maybe you actually have to make 2 beers and blend them to make that happen, right? You know, if that's what you're really going after. It's not bad by any stretch of the imagination. It doesn't really scream out to me Cascade, but it does say, you know, American Blonde. There's not bitterness there, so it is more of just a hop-forward, easy-drinking, pale-colored beer, which is, you know, American Blonde. More on that in the future. Stay tuned. But
don't tell anybody.
Yeah.
Except the whole YouTube channel. Yeah, I think what I was going after for this was, one, did the Canadian Cascade showcase itself the same way as it did in that Smash beer? Because I think that one of the takeaways we had with that video was that terroir is a thing.
Yeah, definitely.
And the Cascade from Canada was different than what we're used to from the Cascade variety in the Pacific Northwest of the USA.
Yeah.
And so I think that is reinforced with this beer, because that is true to this one, and it wasn't just the Smash format and so on. So that's one. Two, I just wanted to play around with Cosmic Punch Yeast. Again, I had a nice starter with the experimental beer. Might as well just use it up. I said sayonara down the drain after everything was keg. I wasn't gonna like scoop out more.
So this was a repitch from the other beer,
yeah,
right?
so this is like beer 3, if you want, if you're
So it's
counting.
3rd generation. Cool.
Yeah, and I think that, to me, I didn't want to even try it again. I think 3 is good. You know, that's good for a packet, I think. And so that was the other thing. And this would probably be a different beer if I had used some neutral yeast strain, like a US05, yep, and or, you know, any of the like Chico strains. And I think that would have been an interesting beer too. I actually like this. It definitely needs to sit in the keg for a little bit longer. Hey, our production schedule is our production schedule. I had to get something out this week.
Yeah.
And so I think that maybe with a little more time to condition in the keg, certainly Sean here says that, you know, lagering for 3 weeks brings another element to it, and I look forward to that. Heck, it's going to be a long, hot summer. Might as well have something easy drinking on the old tap head. Yep. Just notes on starting gravity and finishing gravity at 1050, around 1012 finishing here. And I think that even in its young state, I think you hit the nail on the head. I think it's a nice balance between the malt foundation and, you know, the hops and the yeast doing its thing.
Yep.
So
I think more of it, it'll mature a bit and brighten itself up, literally and, you know, visually and taste-wise, right?
Yeah.
And we'll see what it's like when we're sitting out drinking it
That's right.
on a hot day. So I'm looking forward to that part of it. But it's by no stretch of imagination undrinkable now. It's great. It's a very good beer right now as it is.
Yeah. You always are trying to make it excellent, you know, or like you're striving for excellency, and good is good, but you know, I'm always trying to do better.
I mean, you've got half an ounce at first wort hopping, and then the rest of it's at like 10 minutes and 0 minutes. I love the light hand. I just like this reality of playing with like these beers with a slightly lighter hand of the hops, but still getting plenty of hop character. I think we're starting to, at least we've been experimenting with that a little bit more, and I think a lot of other people should start thinking about that too. I mean, throwing in, you know, 12 ounces of hops is one thing, right, and achieves a certain goal. There's nothing wrong with that. But I think there's something to be said. Take a pale ale recipe, go back, and just keep yourself to 4 ounces or less, and I bet you'd be surprised. I think we're losing it's easy to lose sight of like how potent some of these things are when your technique is used a certain way.
True that.
You know, I would like this to have a little more bitter in quality to it, but we'll see as it clears out if it's how it does on my palate then.
True that. Well, thanks, Sean. Awesome. I think we've connected a few threads here. Certainly, if you're a weekly watcher, it's like, oh, okay, that's how that resolved itself. There you go. So thanks for the hops again, and thanks for the recipe. I told him I was gonna brew it because why not?
Yeah,
they have so many of this, so it's like, well, let's give it a go. Especially because we had already brewed it, and I wanted to like prove once again that terroir is real. And it is. So, thanks for watching. Appreciate your time and attention. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up. Subscribe to our channel because we do this kind of thing every single week. For John and Mike, brew-dudes.com. Brew on.
Cheers.